Alright guys, before I start this episode of Close Enough, I need to note that we're going to be going over some major spoilers, so you've been warned. When it comes to Fallout and its fans, there seems to be a divide between two types of fans. Fallout 3 fans, people who discovered the series in 2008, and New Vegas fans, people who skipped Fallout 3 because they felt that it had nothing to do with the original story that completely took place on the West Coast. And I know not everyone falls into these two categories of people, but a lot of people I talk to and people I watch on YouTube seem to always kind of follow this pattern. I don't believe that one type of fan or the other type of fan is considered a real fan, because that train of thought is just really destructive to our community and also just causes an unnecessary dick measuring contest between who's a real Fallout fan. Now with that cleared up, let's talk about the reasons why I decided to compare New Vegas to 4 instead of 3 to 4. It's not that I believe that New Vegas is a better game and 3 sucks or anything childish like that. It's just that New Vegas improved on elements introduced by 3 and also added to them. Oh, and also, New Vegas is generally better optimized to run on multi-core PCs, which is like every PC after the year 2009. So, the way I'm going to compare these two games is on 4 major points: gameplay, story, choice, and replayability. Oh, and guys, remember, this is just my opinion. This is not fact. Gameplay. Now, I would be absolutely lying if I told you that Fallout New Vegas had any chance in winning this category. If we were comparing Fallout 3 to Fallout New Vegas, I mean, it would have some chance. It improved on aiming down the sights, but Fallout 4 just made shooting so much easier and maneuverability so much easier and just movement faster that it just blows this category out of the water. So let's just give the point to Fallout 4 without overanalyzing this. Next up, story. In Fallout New Vegas, you play as the Courier. The game begins as the Courier is ambushed by a mobster named Benny. Benny then steals the Courier's package, shoots him, and leaves him for dead. But after being rescued by a security gun and patched up by a local doctor, the Courier sets out to hunt down Benny and retrieve his missing package. Or her. I always kind of play as a girl, so that should have been her, but yeah. In Fallout 4, you play as the sole survivor, a human that was alive the day the bombs dropped. After cryogenically being frozen for 210 years, you awake to set out to find your son. Now both stories start off very strong. We're introduced to the character, we find out what their problem is, and then we're tasked to go help them with their problem. But after their intros, this is where Fallout 4 starts to come short. In Fallout New Vegas, after you either help or destroy Goodsprings, you're told that Benny went in a general direction towards Prim. You're then sent town to town trying to find out what happened, and you run into new factions. You first meet the NCR, and discover that they're having trouble protecting the Mojave Desert because it's just too big of a territory and they don't have enough resources. After this, you come on to the town of Nipton and discover Caesar's Legion, and notice how bloodthirsty they are and the fact that they're crucifying people. But you see, Fallout New Vegas never tells you that they're the bad guys, or the NCR are the bad guys. They let you choose. And this is my biggest problem with Fallout 4. In Fallout 4, you're told that the Institute are the bad people. They don't let you really decide for yourself if you think they're bad. The first couple people you talk to all say, oh, these guys are terrible. I mean, hell, you'll just be walking down the road and people will just start talking about synths, and you're just supposed to assume that you know what they are.
Hey.
You read the paper. Damn synths. Hiding among us.
Story also applies to the companions. In Fallout 4, they all seem super duper hollow and like have the same story. Oh, before I met you, my life sucked. Oh, now that I've met you, my life is awesome. Do you want to have sex? And I know that sounds like I'm just knocking on how they did the companion system in Fallout 4, but a perfect example is how you got to do the missions for each companion in Fallout New Vegas. Each companion in Fallout New Vegas had a trigger. You had to do something in the world to interact with them, so they would make a comment or something and tell you about it. For example, to trigger Boone's quest, you had to save slaves from Caesar's Legion in some way. This goes so well with Boone's character. because when you meet him, you discover that his wife was sold to slavery. So it's a way of showing Boone that he can trust you, and he sees that you also do not like slaves and you want to save them. In Fallout 4, all the companion triggers are so stupid. Make sure that you do a whole bunch of things that your companion likes, like helping people, which is like every single companion. For example, I ended up just doing a whole bunch of the Minutemen quests because Curie liked that.
We really are grateful for the help.
Or Preston liked that. Or Piper liked that. It's just like, it just becomes a drag and it's not fun anymore. So with all that said, let's just say the point goes to New Vegas. Choice. Now when it comes to RPGs, choice is the most important thing. If you don't have choice, you don't have an RPG. Choice falls under how the player can play the game, who they work with, what they can do with the game, when they do a quest, and simply what they choose to wear. Now, Fallout 4 is amazing at choosing what you can wear and choosing how you can kill people, but it struggles on the fact that you don't really get to choose how the game really ends. In Fallout 4, there's technically only two endings. The Institute lives.
I think I'd like to sleep now. I've lost Sean. All over again. I close my eyes. I see my...
The Institute dies.
The Institute and their synth abominations must be eradicated.
Pretty much, no matter who you choose, Brotherhood, Minutemen, or Railroad, you still nuke them. It's not really fun. In Fallout New Vegas, there are the 4 main story quest endings, which, all are unique. And then you have every single smaller faction with their slides. In fact, I wanted to see how many different possible endings there were in Fallout New Vegas, so I made a chart. And originally I only did it for if you chose Yes Men as your main ending, and I realized that I wasn't able to fit every single option. So then I did the next best thing. I got my calculator and I did some good old math. And there are 120,394,880,000 different possibilities for endings just for the Yes Man option. Now, I could have kept on going and start multiplying all the possibilities for, Mr. House and the NCR and Caesar's Legion, but I think you get the point. Yes, there's different states of endings in Fallout 4, but there's only about 10 different states that you could leave the entire Commonwealth in. Fallout 4 also struggles with the problem where you can't be a pacifist if you wanted to. You also can't complete the entire game without dying on a single health bar. Now, I know that sounds completely specific, but there's a YouTuber who did this. His name is Many a True Nerd. He completed the entire game of New Vegas, including the DLCs, without ever healing on a single health bar. And when you think about it, choice and replayability go hand in hand. So with that, I'm just gonna give the points to Fallout New Vegas again. Now, Fallout 4 isn't a bad game. In my opinion, it's actually an amazing game. I mean, I played the game for 91 hours. I clearly was having fun if I was playing it that much, but, I started coming to the conclusion, the further and further I played it, that this game just doesn't grip me like New Vegas did. I didn't have the drive once I finished the game to be like, oh man, I want to see what happens if I side with the merchants and the scavengers instead of the robots in the US Constitution. Or, I wonder what happens if I side with the railroad. Or the Brotherhood. The game felt like it had just a list of awesome ideas that weren't fully fleshed out. Like the weapon modding. The weapon modding is awesome, but they forgot to add in super unique weapons that, were one of a kind. And the settlements. I mean, it just felt like it needed a little more polish. Everything was like almost there with this game. That's why I'm excited for the DLC, because hopefully Bethesda will fix this. But until then, I'll always have my awesome Fallout New Vegas. And when I get bored with that, I'll just go to Fallout 3. And when I'm bored with those, I'll just go to Fallout 1 and 2. I mean, Fallout games have always been great, and they probably will always be great. And that's the main reason why I fell in love with this series. because it seems to always just have that awesome charm that other games don't. So with that all done and said, guys, I'll see you next time. Well, man, that was a video to make. Jeez, that took 2 weeks. That was actually really, really hard to be super duper fair to both games. Yeah, I didn't realize how hard of a challenge it is to compare two things that you like a lot. Subscribe if you like it. Yeah. If you like this episode, I also have one that I did on this shitty movie called Ratatouille. Click on it if you want. This week I was gonna do a video on the Super Bowl, but the one I was working on, this one right here, took so long that it took me 2 weeks. So, yeah. Oh, and FYI, I got all that information from Fallout Wiki. That website was a savior, so you guys know. Like, I would still be at the intro if it wasn't for that website. Like, no joke, helped me with a lot of the stats and doing the math on that ending thing. Almost killed my computer trying to animate it, so hope you liked it. Cool. Oh, and also, I started school, college again, and I forgot how draining that can be, especially when you're a film student and you're working on actual films. So, yeah. Till next time, guys. Yeah. Bye, I guess. See ya. You can leave now.